Welcome back to the morning show here on Arise News. I'm Ruben Abati.
And I'm OG Akbi. No matter how great your product is, choosing the right retail channel is a key determinant of success when entering the market, because if you don't sell the way your customers want, they won't buy your product. Joining us to discuss this and several other marketing tools needed to push your product is Hannah Oyebanjo, the Managing Director of Redwood Consulting, a sales and marketing agency. Good morning, Hannah.
Good morning.
Thank you for joining us.
Ruben.
Good to see you.
Good to meet you again.
Well, let's go right to it, yeah? So can you tell us, so what are some of the marketing tools entrepreneurs need to know or need to have success or to make an impact in their sales?
Yes, I think I'll just take it from the very basic,
yes.
which is the 4 P's of marketing.
Yes.
And the 4 P's of marketing, we talk about the product, the place, the price, and promotion.
Okay.
So if I could expatiate
yes,
a bit more
please.
on them, so first is the product. Because the product is what you sell. This is the solution. This is the item that is supposed to provide an answer to a problem or solve a problem. So if your product isn't suitable, you don't even have a market to start with. So product is very important.
Okay, so how do you make your product suitable?
Yes, so it's important to understand what the issues are first. And this is a challenge I found with most entrepreneurs. They jump out into the market because they like a product or they know how to make a product. The market is suitable for that. Let me quickly explain what a market is here. When we talk about a market, in the marketing parlance, it's not your stationary place like Okeari, Ojui, and all of that, like your area market, I don't know. So your market is a combination of the total number of people who have the capacity to buy your product, who like it, who have the wherewithal to pay for it. So that's your marketing market. This clarification is very important because if you don't quantify that market appropriately, you think you have a product to sell and you realize you never sell because nobody buys it. Because there are no people who like it, or those who like it don't have the wherewithal, they don't have the money to buy it. So it's very important to clarify that. Okay, so back on getting a product right, it's important. Research is very important. See, for most SMEs, they shy away from research. Some of them don't really understand it. Some think it will cost them a lot of money. But I want to tell you, if you're an SME, it isn't that difficult. You could even do surveys yourself. You must be able to, believe in the product and go out and check with a few people to confirm, that people like what you produce. Practically, for example, let's assume you grew up with a mom who makes beads, and you grew up, you like to make beads, and you then go ahead, you produce, you buy input, you make plenty of beads, and they realize you're not selling. Why are you not selling? Probably because the people within your community, they don't want the beads. The type of beads you make is not suitable. Maybe there are competitors, other people who make finer beads that these consumers or these people like. So you're not selling. So there's a lot that goes into it. So in summary, on this point of product, it's not sufficient for you to go ahead and just produce without confirming that you have, quite a number of people who will like the product, is suitable, is meeting their needs, and then they have the wherewithal, the financial capability. And on that note of financial capability, again, is when we talk about, we can actually segment the market. So when we talk about the target, your people, you decide, who do I want to buy this? It could be people on the lower rung, yes? In which case you're pricing, because that then impacts your pricing.
Okay, so that's the next P, correct?
Thank you, yes.
And so how do we determine the price? How do we put a right price on, with all the inflation,
yes.
Obviously what do you call it, the price elasticity of demand?
Yes, yes.
How do you actually determine a price on a product?
Okay, so to determine a price, because to start with, you are in business to make money. So you want to ensure that after taking out all your input costs, you want to put a margin on it that's a bit comfortable, depending on what category you're playing in. Now, in some markets, you can make a lot of money than in some other markets. So it depends on who you are playing with. So first element is to ensure all your input costs are captured first. Otherwise, you're going to make a loss. That then means that you must have a way of capturing what you put into the product, especially as SMEs. Some of us are not that detailed to know how much it's costing me to produce, including your overheads, including the salaries, including a few of the fixed costs and all of that. You must be able to put them all, your direct and indirect costs, first, and then you begin to say, what margin? Now, to consider the margin, you should think of competition. If you're not the only person producing that, go check on the shelf. How much is this product going for? If it's 10 naira and your input cost, for example, is 8 naira, that means you can as well sell for 10 naira with a margin of 2 naira. But if your input cost is already 10 naira, for example.
What do you do then?
Now, that means something is wrong with your process. You need to go back and check. Now, but sometimes you could be 10 naira because the other competitors, they are selling at what we call penetration price. There's penetration pricing, in which case a big player decides to say, you know what, I want to enter into the market well, so I'm going to knock off the price.
Loss.
Yeah, I can take a loss for a little while before which is why it's very important to have done your survey appropriately. Check the pricing before you come into the market to ensure that when you finally put up your price up there, you are not at a loss or nobody snuffs you out of the business.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's go into promotion, and obviously the last one will be place.
Yes,
real quick.
Okay, that's fine. So promotion is a combination of everything you do to make the customer or the consumer know that your product is available, to make it interesting for them, to make them desire to get it, to make them go ahead and take the action of picking the product. That's everything you do. So within that promotion ambit is where you have advertising, for example, because that then helps you. So advertising is where you pay to get people to know, get awareness about your product. PR comes in play here. PR is a third-party endorsement, and not when you give brand envelope. That's not PR. PR is when a third person talks about your product because he's used the product and it's found it suitable. Okay? Yeah, and then you have direct sales. Direct sales is when you have your mercenaries or your...
how effective is that, the direct sales, as opposed to just the regular promotions that we have, either online or on the TV or whatever it is? How effective is direct sales?
Direct sales is very important. You know why? Because direct sales assumes that a man is speaking with a man. So you have the benefit of a two-way communication, in which case, when there are objections, and there are usually objections, you are able to counter because you're speaking with the person. I don't like it. Why? It's too dark. I like something lighter. No, this dark suits your color. So I'm persuading. And then so I'm able to convince stronger. So face-to-face, face-to-face direct is usually stronger. Okay. However, of course, we've realized now these days that even with the digital, with technology, there are ways you can still sell and almost get your face-to-face.
How do you add value and gain an advantage in a saturated market? Because for some products, the market is saturated.
Yes.
And yet you go into it.
Yes.
How do you gain an edge?
You see, I go back to insight. So when you use the word insight, it means you do research, not just research, because there's a technique to research. There's a technique to research. So there's a way you can uncover needs that even the customers don't know exists. So it's a deeper way of research. So when you use professionals in a saturated market, it doesn't matter how saturated. Remember trends, people are changing, things are moving and all. When I sit with 3 or 4 people in a saturated market, I may be able to get 1 or 2 insights, what we call insight, the aha, that, though we are all saturated, but there's a little more that I could get, or a little lesser I want out of this. I could take that up and then develop that product, and then I get an edge.
Marketing, is it a specialized function or something that the entrepreneur can take on along with other things he or she is?
I think an entrepreneur should understand marketing. You may not be able to execute marketing yourself because of all the elements involved. And this is why we say as an entrepreneur, you should seek third-party agencies or people who can help you.
Outsourcing.
You can outsource, to people who would be mindful, those who deal with SMEs, so that doesn't come into your cost profile so highly.
But if you look at the field in Nigeria, how developed do you think?
The field? What
marketing.
Field? Oh, marketing field is pretty developed. It's pretty developed because of course, there are associations and organizations that help. And these are the third-party people you want to outsource to. Because if you take all the functions, product, which is production, most times entrepreneurs are very strong on production. This is where they start from, most times, I say. Now, they're weak when it comes to the other elements. Pricing, they may manage. Now, place is a big issue. We're coming to that. Promotion, they're weak. They don't know too much of it. So you find them, they've produced, the products are there, and they're saying, my warehouse is full. I'm not selling. I'm not selling. That's because they don't know how to. They don't understand trade. That's getting us into place now.
Okay, let's go into that real quick.
So the last P is place. Place is distribution, the channels, where the products get to, and there are different levels. So I'll advise any entrepreneur, first and foremost, if it's a product or service, to understand the trade. How is it structured for your kind of business? Because it depends on where you are playing. Your category has a peculiarity. If it's an FMCG, it's a consumer product, it's different from if it's an industrial good, for example. If it's a specialty product, item, for example, it's different. Yeah, so you need to first understand, where am I playing? Now, how is the trade structured from a distribution point of view? Is it informal or formal? Now, because they are basic, you can divide into two, to say the formal and the informal. Now, let me use FMCG because they are products you can touch, so it's easy to use them to explain.
Okay.
So if it's a formal trade are like channels, they're like chain stores, and we're beginning to have them in Nigeria, but their contribution is still below 10%.
Okay.
I mean, some say it's about 5%, we don't have the data, but we know it's below 10%. Now, but the 90% is the informal. The informal, this is the market now, the market proper, the open market, which is a space, right? So to get there, there are channels. There are distributors, there are wholesalers, there are retailers. So you need to decide to say, how do I go through? Because should I go through distributors or should I do direct to retail? So it comes from me, straight to retail, then to consumer, right? But you find most SMEs sometimes want to do even direct to user, a whole lot of work. Because then you have to break bulk.
But what's the nature of your work as a marketing consultant? Do people come to you and what do you do exactly?
Yeah, so I personally work for people across strata, the big and the small. Okay. I like the small because I like the spirit, and I also want to contribute to Nigeria. So I support them. And indeed, we were part of those that worked for GEM, the Global Entrepreneurship Monitor. It's a program with the World Bank recently, and we have some SMEs I had to work for. It's interesting. I could share just one example in terms of place. So there was this entrepreneur somewhere on the island here, does very good product. I mean, when I say good product, global standard. I've worked in global organizations, and I know when this is good. I knew she had a very good product, but she couldn't access the market because she didn't understand the trade. So she had the capability of production, but she didn't understand the place technique. So we had to work with her to say, okay, so can we help you broker distributors? Okay. So when we broker distributors, so you focus on your area of strength, which is production. So you give it to distributor, you sign an SLA, some agreement. The distributor, because the distributor already has channels, has vans, infrastructure is required for distributorship. You can carry that. Before we came to her, she had a van. She would just take from her warehouse to open market. They were owing her a lot of debts, a lot of unaccounted stock, and all of that, because that was not her forte. Now, but our intervention meant linking her with the distributor that was already working within, similar category. So somebody's already doing FMCG can then carry your product, right? Because he has infrastructure, he has the outlets. There are trade sensors, trade outlets, the universe. He knows the total number of outlets and then the distributor was able to access and help her, push it forward. I mean, we were supposed to have worked for her for like 8 months. By the 4th month, she saw the aha, and she was happy. I mean, she actually just jumped out of the bus, more or less, and started running. Yeah, and we're really, I'm very proud of her.
Oh,
and
very
so,
good.
Yeah.
This is quite engaging.
Yes, I wish we had more time on this segment. Yes.
Product, price, promotion.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yes. Thank you very much.
I hope you join us again.
Yes, I hope so. Well done, Arise.
All right. Thank you so much.
Cheers. Thank you.
That's all from Hannah Oyebanjo.